as the heatwave continues to grip the continent. There are soaring temperatures with heat alerts and public health measures in place in many countries.
Just looking at that map, it is unbelievable the temperatures that we have seen in the last week or so on the continent of Europe. And the irony is not lost on me that Europe sent people to the continent of Africa and South Asia to steal, kill, exploit, colonize, is now facing temperatures that is more common in those areas centuries later as some type of punishment for the imperialism, for the colonialism, from the exploitation.
I'm as a real can get. What you see?
Buongiorno freaks and geeks, welcome back to the channel. Now, full disclosure, this is the first time I've been able to turn on my computer in about a week, given the extreme weather conditions. So it's safe to say the elephant in the room can no longer be ignored. Climate change is very much real, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to really speak about it, what is causing it, and what needs to be done next. And we will be able to do that through the backdrop of a BBC report. So I'm going to press play on that now, but before I do, please don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and tell me down below what needs to happen before real action is taken on climate change.
Now, here in the UK, it's a third day of record-breaking temperatures for June, with the mercury rising to 36.9 degrees Celsius in Suffolk on Friday. At least 6 hospital trusts in England have declared critical incidents. The red weather warning for extreme heat has been extended for London and parts of southeast England until 9 o'clock. That's the first time it's been issued for 3 consecutive days.
At what point are we going to be sick and tired of living through history? Does every day have to be history at this point? God, I hope not. And we can do things to make sure it doesn't happen, like installing political leaders who actually want to make a change for the better for everyone, not just today, but for generations to come. I mean, for crying out loud, what do you mean this is the first time you've had to issue red warnings 3 consecutive days in a row? Hello?
As the temperatures climb, so do the demands on emergency services. Firefighters in Derbyshire have been battling to contain a major wildfire, which has torn through large areas of moorland for more than 24 hours, forcing road closures and smoke warnings.
Are the pieces of the puzzle slowly coming together for you just yet? As we've seen, as climate change gives us more extreme, but in this particular case, hot weather, forest fires are going to be more common. Why are forest fires bad? Well, because we need trees to actually live on this planet, but also that means fire services are pulled in other directions. Secondly, with such high temperatures, that means people are not only going to suffer from heat stroke, but also heat exhaustion, meaning the ambulance service will be further stretched. 2 out of the 3 999 emergency services are directly affected by extreme temperatures. This is almost the easiest puzzle in history.
Cause of the wildfire isn't yet known, but the weather conditions are making containing it more difficult. Meanwhile, analysis by the AFP news agency suggests at least 150 million people across Europe will face temperatures above 35 degrees on Friday as the heatwave continues to grip the continent. There are soaring temperatures with heat alerts and public health measures in place in many countries.
Just looking at that map, it is unbelievable the temperatures that we have seen in the last week or so on the continent of Europe. And the irony is not lost on me that Europe sent people to the continent of Africa and South Asia to steal, kill, exploit, colonize, is now facing temperatures that is more common in those areas centuries later as some type of punishment for the imperialism, for the colonialism, from the exploitation. It has to be said that the same political system that encouraged Europeans to go and exploit the global south is the same political system that is driving this climate change we are facing today. It is all linked. And the quicker we come to grips with that realization, the quicker we will be able to change it.
In France, the health alert is at its highest level to boost hospital staffing and protect the vulnerable. In Paris, there have been restrictions placed on consuming alcohol in public places, and this weekend's Paris Pride March has been postponed to avoid overwhelming response services already under pressure.
As always, when extreme weather conditions happen, it's always the marginalised that tend to suffer. Pride March in Paris had to be cancelled for good reason, mind you, but also what will happen in the global south as temperatures soar for them further means that they won't be able to grow crops, which means that there will be more drought and they will have to move to places where there are resources. Again, the marginalised being affected by climate change.
Other events have also been postponed. In Italy, temperatures are in the mid to high 30s. A red code alert in the Tuscany region has been issued across its healthcare network. And in Spain, military firefighters have been working through the night to contain a wildfire in Huesca province in the northeast of the country, where flames have scorched at least 1,000 hectares.
Wildfires, soaring temperatures, healthcare systems being stretched, fire services being stretched. It is becoming more and more commonplace, not only in the UK, but across Europe. What needs to happen for the political class to actually respond appropriately, as opposed to, drilling more for oil, producing bombs to be used on people and land, this unfiltered use of private planes, it all needs to stop.
Our Paris correspondent Hugh Schofield is just outside the French capital, where hospitals are at risk of being overwhelmed and where the authorities have banned alcohol consumption in public. I asked him whether France has crossed a line in its ability to cope with the extreme heat.
I would say that all European countries have crossed the line because, again, we are not built for these types of temperatures. Never, ever, ever. Until now, that is. If you actually look at the science, the reason that people in Europe, especially Northern Europe, are paler is because their skin didn't require them to be as dark as people in the continent of Africa. It's simple science. So what the hell do you mean that these people are now facing temperatures that their ancestors never even dreamt of facing? When are we going to catch up? How long are we going to allow billionaires to try and influence what science has always told us?
I'd say the line is coming close to being crossed. What the authorities are saying in Paris is not that the situation has shifted into one of, chaos and over too many people being turning up and being unable, hospitals being unable to cope. That's not where we're at. But there's a risk of that, and that's the point. They're looking ahead and seeing that typically when there's a heat wave like this, there's a gap of 2 or 3 days before the rush comes in, if it goes on.
I'm sorry, I have to pause it there. I mean, I get it, it's very, very hot, but I don't know if the solution to that is to be jumping into that water because it looks pretty dirty. If you don't get heat exhaustion or heat stroke, you're definitely going to get some type of diarrhea after going in that water. I mean, that's just kind of gross, to be honest.
So they're expecting around now, if the heat continues, for the hospitals to be even more stretched than they are already. They are stretched. There's no question about it. Mortality has gone up in around Paris. We don't know by how much, but there is an excess mortality, no question about it. Hospitals are treating people in the corridors, and there's worry that it'll become unable to cope, the system. But we're not there yet.
Blouse and skirts. On one of those signs, it actually says 46 degrees in Paris, France. Does any of that seem normal to you? I mean, golly. Like, at what point do we just accept that human beings are not more powerful than the sun? There is going to be excess death. There's going to be more heat exhaustion. There's going to be more heat stroke. Such is the fragility of being human. But no, all of these plans of getting to net zero, even though that's not even enough, but all of these plans to get to net zero is apparently some type of overzealot catastrophe for those on the right. This can't go on. It's not sustainable. No way is it sustainable.
And that's why this, these measures about banning alcohol on the streets of Paris and so on are so important. It's because the authorities are looking ahead and saying, let's do what we can to limit the strain on the hospital system. Alcohol leads more and more people to be hospitalized. We know that when people drink alcohol in large quantities in very, very hot episodes like this, it leads to excessive strain on the health system. Why? Because alcohol actually dehydrates rather than hydrates. And so to avoid that and to allow the authorities and the hospitals to focus on the genuinely vulnerable, the elderly and the isolated and the homeless and so on, that this measure is in place today and tomorrow to stop people drinking in public and to stop shops selling alcohol for takeaway.
Yes, 2 + 2 = 4. You drink alcohol, it dehydrates you. You drink alcohol when it's got extreme heat temperatures like this, you're going to end up in hospital very quickly. I get the policy, but what is going to happen after that? I understand what you're doing right now, but what is the plans after this particular heat wave is over? Are you going to change your national policy in regards to climate change, or are you just going to wait until the next time there's another heat wave and just ban alcohol again? And I get it. I really want to drink when there's a bit of sun out. Aperol Spritz is beautiful when there's some lovely sun above. So I don't blame anyone that sees the sun even in extreme temperatures like this and goes out and wants to get a cheeky alcoholic beverage.
So I would say, in answer to your question, that we're certainly, one senses that we're close to a dangerous situation, but we're not there, and steps are being taken, and there is hope because it looks like in the next few days it is going to diminish in intensity.
I have to highlight that this BBC correspondent has such a lovely garden. He's even got a trampoline in the garden. I mean, it's not a bad job working for the BBC while being the Paris correspondent, is it?
And Anna Holligan has sent us this update from The Hague in the Netherlands.
It is hot here on the streets of The Hague. It feels almost suffocating. Much of the Netherlands lies below sea level, and people are taking advantage of the easy access to water, jumping into canals, heading for the coast.
Just think about that. Most of the Netherlands is below sea level. If these temperatures continue to rise and are visiting us in sustained periods, that just means that the polar ice caps will melt even further and raise not only ocean levels, but river levels, all sea levels on the planet. Does that sound good to you, that the whole of the Netherlands will disappear? I mean, depends who you are, but yeah, again, all of this science makes perfect sense. And still billionaires tell you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. This needs to change now.
But that relief comes with some risks, and yesterday 3 people drowned, including a 13-year-old boy. A red alert for the heat has been issued for the first time in the country's history. Temperatures up to 40 degrees.
They've never issued a red alert in the Netherlands, a place where much of it lies below sea level. And of course, people want to find the closest body of water and use it. And as we've just heard, 3 people have died since this heat wave has happened, including a 13-year-old child. I mean, what are we doing? Like, all of this is kind of predictable. We need to make sure temperatures don't rise anymore.
Many events have been cancelled, parades, festivals, schools have been closed. The sale of alcohol has been restricted. And it's a similar picture across much of the continent. So in Paris, the sale and consumption of alcohol in public has been restricted to try to relieve pressure on the hospitals. In Germany, the Hamburg Half Marathon has been cancelled. People are being offered cancellations on train tickets. In Switzerland, an alert has been issued for a possible drought situation. So what is causing this extreme heat? Well, scientists at the World Weather Attribution have said that these temperatures, the heat wave in Europe, is unmistakably as a result of climate change. And they say these temperatures would have been virtually impossible 50 years ago.
Unmistakably the result of climate change. Can't really say much more than that, but I will anyway, because I forgot to mention at the end of this video that I witnessed a scientist say this will be the coldest summer we will have for the rest of our lives. And do you know how insane that is to say out loud? And even if you skip past the statement that these temperatures would have been virtually impossible 50 years ago, you just need to look at over 100 years ago, there was already talks of human behavior impacting our climate. This is what I learned in science in my first 2 years of secondary school. What do you think the periodic table is? It tells you how chemicals and elements mix together to produce something new. If you keep producing CO2 emissions and sending it into the atmosphere, do you think the atmosphere is not going to react to that? I mean, you have to have some level of enormous delusion to think that sending those types of emissions up into the atmosphere is not going to impact our climate. As I mentioned earlier in this video, all of this is linked to our political system. Capitalism knows no bounds, is looking for infinite growth. And if it wasn't for shareholders maximizing profit, we wouldn't see as much damage being done to our environment right before our very eyes. So that's what I think. Tell me what you think down below. I would love to read it. If you stayed with me up to this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. If you enjoy audiobooks and want to spot red flags early in relationships, I voice one, link in the description below. And remember, once we understand politics, we will make better choices. And I will reiterate for the 200th time in this video, climate change is a political choice. And we need to see people in the political class ready and with the appetite to tackle this crisis. Don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon. Ciao.
You gotta find sense of humor. You gotta find sense of humor every time.